Hello, my name is Caitlin Williams and welcome to my first ever video on this YouTube channel. So, I have been shooting since I was 8 years old, and ever since I was 14, I was sharing around the idea of me starting a YouTube channel. All about archery, my travels, some of the stuff I've learned over how old am I? The 9 years of shooting. No, 8 years. 8 years. 8 years of shooting that I have under my belt. So I hope you enjoy this video of me getting ready for Camp Minden. I want to start off by formally apologizing for the audio and video quality of this. I'm recording with my cell phone, and the audio should be from my earbud if it decides to work. I also want to apologize for the wind. I have to record today because we're leaving tomorrow, and this is what I have to deal with, which is why you're following. Well, after that also rude interruption, we're back, and hopefully the wind doesn't knock my tripod over again because there is now a stick propping it up. So what we are doing today is I need to sight in my backup bow, which is my first Reckoning Gen 2 36 that I got last year. I have a new one this year. The only difference between the two is this one has 50-pound limbs. My other one has 60-pound limbs. So this is my backup bow because it shoots much lighter and I like a little bit more poundage. I'm a big girl, I can pull that type of stuff. So we're starting at 20 yards and we're moving back. We'll see if the sight tape is on or if I have to make a new one. First arrow out of this bow, and in about 3 months I have no idea where it's going to hit because this is not the sight that is on this bow. So some more things about the bow that I'm currently shooting in this video is that it was the bow that actually got me through most of 2023. And I'm about to come back in the regular video, and hopefully the wind isn't too bad so you can actually hear me. First shot really far right, wind, I just want to worry about my up and down. The arrow doesn't have a knot. So right about this time, the wind picks up a lot and you can't really hear what I'm explaining. So what I'm doing is walking you through my process, which is get my stance, load an arrow, make sure that my sight is on, and then draw back, breathe, check my bubble, let the pin float where I want it to hit, and then relax, and eventually my release will go off. Eventually my release goes off. Real quick, on this specific shot, I noticed I dropped my arm after it, so that might have affected where my arrow hit. I almost knocked my other arrow, so I think I need to move that a little bit. So we're hitting left. Look how that good. So at this point I wanted to get some shooting in without me trying to voice what I was doing at the time, so I decided I would do a voiceover for it. So as I'm drawing, it's really hard to play with the wind that I had going on, so I picked one of the worst days to sight my bow in all actuality. That shot, I believe I hit the same set of arrows that I had already hit once before, so I decided I was going to absolutely crank it down to the left, which it doesn't look like I did right there, so maybe I'm wrong on that. But I know for a fact that this one is going to hit the other arrow that is there. And if you watch my shot, my bow does normally kick up a little bit. Does it do this in this? You can also see how I was struggling with the wind. And I also watched the string hit my arm. I think I still have a bruise from that. So now I'm just moving my up and down. And yeah. So yep, just moving my up and down, making sure that everything is all set, getting it all around. Also, yes, those are birds in the background that you're hearing right now. I can't get them to be quiet because they are birds. So yeah, bye. So we are walking up to my first round of sighting in this bow. You can tell when I made the big adjustment on my left and right after pretty much hitting 3 arrows together. But now I just got to finish sighting 20 in. Alright, so now that I have 20 set, as you can see, my indicator on my sight is it will focus. Come on. Okay, well, it's not at 20. So what I need to do, and the way that I tend to check to see if my previous sight type is still on, is first I find my 20, then simply I move my indicator pin to where it's marking at 20. So when I go to, say, 30, I can see if 30 is still on and if I need to make a new sight tape or not. Which in this case, I probably won't have time to make a sight tape, so what I'll do is go to the other side and mark off my yardages with a pen. And hopefully I don't need to use this bow, as my other bow will hopefully be the one I'm using. So yeah. So at this point, the wind started picking up really bad, and I failed to realize that you wouldn't be able to hear a single word I'm saying. But I ended up finishing 20 yards and was able to get that all sighted in, so I decided to move back to 30 yards. I also explained that hopefully my tripod doesn't fall over because it's being held up by the exact same stick that was holding up my tripod earlier. So now I'm moving my sight. I also explained I am prone to forgetting to move my sight and then wondering why my arrow hit off in no man's land. Getting ready to go through my shot. Actually, I think at this point I'm waiting for the wind to die down while jabbering on as an excuse. Shot goes off, and I noticed that arrow seemed to have kicked really weird out of that bow, so I might have to retune my arrows. Or retune my bow to my arrows. If you watch my stabilizer, you can see when the gusts of wind come through. That shot, I yanked right through it. It didn't go off naturally, and I think the arrow suffered from that. It's just me adjusting my things, and I think I also moved my stance to be a little bit wider here because the wind was enough. It was actually moving me as well, not just the bow. I have no idea what I said right there, but I thought my little shrug was cute. I attempted to yank that shot, I just saw me flinch. Looking like literally like tilting back and forth in the wind. You can kind of see it in the branches here. You can see it in the trees in the background as well, how windy it actually was. Like I said, I picked probably the worst day to record. So now I'm checking my shots and realizing that I'm hitting where I'm aiming, so it's time to go pull arrows and move back to 40. So I realized that my sight was actually set for 32 at this point, but even though I don't record it because my phone decided to not record it, I did actually hit fine at the 40 mark at 40 yards. So now that I'm sighted all in, I need to replace a couple of knocks that I have destroyed within the past couple of months. I've just been too lazy to do it. And I figured while I'm replacing knocks, I could also talk about some stuff that I've learned over the years and stuff that I hopefully want to explore further. So, like I said, we're getting ready to head out to Camp Minden, Louisiana for the third stop on the ASA Pro aim list. Now, I went to all of them last year, but due to a couple of different reasons, I was not able to go to the first two this year, so this is my first ASA of the year. It is not my first nationals of the year, though. I did go to the S3DA Eastern Indoor Nationals, which indoor is not my strong suit despite the many 5 spots that you see behind me. I just shoot it during the winter because it's one of the only things that we can do around here. I am not only into archery, I do a lot of engineering stuff, which allows me to make my own things at our local career center, which I'm actually not sponsored, wearing a t-shirt from today. So I go to school out there all day instead of my local high school, and then I come home and I shoot. And what's really nice is my instructor is very understanding of the traveling that I do for this type of stuff. So yeah, I have a habit of, even though I have the stuff to fix them, not fixing arrows. I'm really bad about it. Whether it just be me forgetting or me being lazy, I don't fix them, and even though I only have 3 to fix here, because pin knocks are awesome, by the way, pardon me, take some strength to get these in there. First I want to say, I do not recommend using a table to push in your knocks, even though I'm obviously very confused on what I'm thinking about right here. It was just the only option I had right there, and I trust my knocks to not break. So now my mind is just literally, I'm trying so hard to think of what I was thinking about. Then I went, okay, voiceover will take over. So now I'm just checking to make sure that all my fletchings are good, and I don't need to worry about replacing any of them. And I do this by looking down the shaft and just making sure none of the arrows are showing signs of peeling off the shaft or have a really weird way of waving, I guess would be the best way to put it. And just making sure that they're all good and all set for us to leave. So yay! Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you consider liking and subscribing. And I understand that it's probably choppy, and I did the best that I could with the equipment that I have. So like I said, please consider liking and subscribing for more content revolving around outdoor activities and archery and that type of stuff.